All right, I'm going to tell you guys about an interesting idea on how to manage a classroom. How I do it this year is we give tally marks to the kids for good behavior. And I have these flashcards. So what my system is when kids get a certain amount of tally marks, they could either earn a party, but you don't want to have a party all the time. So they could also earn a raffle slash auction. And what that means is it's a very low maintenance way of developing an economy in the classroom. The currency that we have is these flashcards. And what happens is you really shouldn't ever run out of flashcards, because what happens is when you give them out, eventually they have to pay them back to you in order to purchase anything. So if you're worried about, well, I'd have to have tons of flashcards. So you could get away with, just buying a few hundred or whatever, and then keep on recirculating those cards. So I bought these. These are $1 at Target, or they were $1 during back to school night. But I bought them at 75% off, so a quarter for each of these stacks. And that's why I started having these. I said, okay, so what am I going to do with them now? So what I did is when kids are behaving well, I'll give them a card. When teams are behaving well, I'll give them a card. But they also get a payday. Say, for example, they get a lot of tally marks on their tally charts for their team. Like at the end of the month, I'll give them pay. And so each team had about 250 tally marks. So I said, okay, everybody earned their pay. And their pay was 10 cards today. So I had to have about 300 cards, because I have 30 kids, just available. And so I gave them each, 10 cards to use. And now with those 10 cards, they could either buy raffle tickets, and I don't even know what the price of it is at this point in time. It depends on what I want to charge. We could then use those raffle tickets for prizes on the table. Or we could straight auction certain high value items off, like this toy car. It's got broken glass on it, it's pretty ancient. It was my daughter's car, and then my son played with it and busted all the windows out. But still, it's a Lamborghini. It's damaged, but it's still worth something, right? So I might say, okay, bidding starts at, if I'm not going to use it for the raffle, which would be easy, you go to random.org, and then you just punch in the numbers, and then it'll randomize the numbers for you. So that's one thing you could do for a raffle. But for an auction, I would just say, okay, bidding for this item off the table starts at 5 trading cards. And then kids can increase the value by increments of 1, or increase their bids by an increment of 1. So another kid might say, oh, I'll buy it for 5, and another kid will say, I buy it for 6, another kid will say, I buy it for 7. Okay, do I hear 8? And then somebody says 8, and it says, okay, 8, going once, going twice, sold, and then they get this, and then they give me 8 cards back. All right, so that's how we do auction in my classroom, and that way I don't have to put prices on anything. Because they're either going to just raffle them, or they're going to win them during auction. So no prices on anything. It goes based on the value, the going rate of the value. And plus, these are things that I really don't need anymore, or my kids don't need, or children at home don't need. And that's just how I run my classroom economy. One thing I have also decided to sell is rights. Okay, so there's materials you could sell, but there's also rights that you could sell. Like the right to have a certain state for their state report is one thing I said I could auction off. Some kids said, well, you know what? We don't think that's fair, because some kids have more cards to trade for that right than others. And I really want, New York, or I really want Alaska. It's like, so it's not fair. It should at least be some form of chance. And I said, well, life isn't fair. And the lesson here is that the people that have the most cards, or that have been saving up their cards and didn't use them to buy stuff, they're just using them, and saving them up, they should be able to use their money for whatever they want. And, that includes the freedom to purchase the rights to have New York or Hawaii, which are usually the first couple of states that go, right? Anyways, that's another option, selling people the rights to high value states for their state report or whatever. You could also do rentals. I don't know, I'm renting out guitars, but I rented them out for free before. Maybe I start renting them for trading cards. So hope that sparks some ideas for you.